Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday service of Now Creations. Just nice to be here with you. Nothing more than just nice being here with you. Just to know that that peace, that goodness, that love is within our hearts. This is the most important thing in the world, that we are well within. And as we continue to be well within, we're so good at becoming well outside. Just a couple of thoughts before we begin today. First of all, just a reminder that on Christmas Day, we'll be having our Christmas Day service from 10 to 11. Please tune in. And then also, tonight, Sunday, at our open forum meeting from 6 to 7:30, we certainly invite you to join us. Just go to our website and just click on Study Groups and scroll down to Open Forum. Tonight from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Let's now begin. My dear soul friends, just nice to greet you that way. My dear soul friends. To say the least, this past week has been a magnificent, and I certainly use the word magnificent very purposefully. This past week has been a magnificent time during which so many of us are experiencing magnificent new experiences of growth. These new experiences are occurring because the veil is lifting. The veil between the physical world and the world of spirit is lifting. We are beginning to experience the merging of the physical with the non-physical, the world of matter with the world of spirit, the everyday world with the God-Spirit world. It is this merging that I would like to address in this week's teaching entitled, Now What? Let me immediately move into the teaching. In last week's teaching, I clearly presented the shift that is occurring in many of our lives. In a nutshell, we have moved from choosing the game of separation with its experience of fear, worry, and anxiety to the new experience of alignment, merging with the God Spirit within us. This movement from the game of separation to the experience of alignment is what the shift in consciousness has been about. The shift from seeing ourselves as fearful, limited humans to seeing ourselves as unlimited, loving, eternal souls. This is the shift, and quite a shift it has been. This shift is what the Ascended Master Kuthumi meant when he said, the longest part of the spiritual journey is from the third to the fifth dimension. By this he meant that the longest spiritual part of our journey is from the game of separation, the third dimension, to soul alignment, the fifth dimension, the shift. We understand this. And with this understanding, many of you very astutely have said, now what? Now what after we have made the shift? Now that we have made this shift and the implications of Kuthumi's message that the biggest part of the journey is behind us, now what? What is it that will be our forward movement? It's to answer this question, now what? What is our forward movement that I believe we are now ready to create and I want to express? May I suggest these 5 things that we will create. The first one is simply to accept the fact that, well, you have changed. You are different. That this is how you truly have changed. You now think as God thinks. You heard me correctly. You now think as God thinks. You and I have accepted the Holy Spirit of God into our lives, and we now operate from the soul spirit as a conscious presence within us. We have changed. You have changed. I have changed. The world is much less compelling to you. You would rather be in God than in the world. You would rather be of God than of the world. I don't blame you. So would I. So much of a better place to be when we are in and of God. As one of our members had put it very nicely recently, prompted by the workbook section of A Course in Miracles, she said, she now thinks with the mind of God. This is not a grandiose, boastful statement. It is simply the truth. Her thoughts, like yours, are the thoughts of God. This raising of our thoughts to the thoughts of God has had multiple effects, primary of which are the following two. The first one, please listen closely. The neurons in your brain, the neurons in your mind are changing. Less and less do the neurons and the neural programming reflect the dense thoughts of the world. And more, the neurons in your brain and the neural pathways are reflecting the thoughts of God. You are changing your brain. Do you understand this? You are changing your brain. You are changing how you think. You are now thinking with the mind of God. And I know that you have experienced this. You've noticed this. You have changed. The second result of your change in thinking has been the emotional and physical feelings and sensations of your body. Your emotions are calmer. Your body is more relaxed. The anxiety and the everyday tensions have become sensations of the past because, well, you think differently. The elevation of your thinking into the mind of God has resulted not only in greater intelligence, but also in the quality of your daily living. I mean, honestly, aren't you kinder? Aren't you more loving? Aren't you more understanding? In a nutshell, you have raised the quality of your thinking to the mind of God. And you have elevated your emotions and your physical body as well. You've changed. The second, now what? The second now what is a result of the first. Now that you are thinking the thoughts of God, you are beginning not only to be in the mind of God, but you also are able to bring the mind of God to the situations of your life. The old you, which was inclined to be somewhat critical and judgmental, has changed into the new you, which simply understands. You understand. You understand that while you have changed, many others have not changed. You understand this. You understand that everyone is on their own soul journey, And your role is to simply show up as lovingly as you can, doing your best, but not trying to control or judge. But now here's the difference, and this is the critical difference. You not only understand from your own soul level, you understand from their soul level. You understand that they are going through their soul experience. And even when you don't understand that, you do understand that they are perfectly safe and secure. You understand that what seems to be the human condition is not their soul condition. May I repeat this? You understand that what seems to be their human condition is not their soul condition. Just as you have come to see yourself as a soul entity, you see others in the same way. You don't have to fix them. Their soul will do that. You don't have to worry about them. Their soul is in charge. You simply understand that they are on a journey of their soul experiences just like you. And just like you, their soul will lead them. You understand this. Now for the third, now what? Please listen carefully. Because your thoughts have become the thoughts of God, you are beginning to clearly experience your daily, eyes opened, walking in around in the world sense of self to be of God as well. Let me just repeat this. You're beginning to understand that because you have the thoughts of God, your daily experience, your eyes opened, walking around in the world, is now of God. Now, what I want to do is to show you how several of you are now consciously walking around as children of God, ambassadors of goodness. And particularly, that the veil truly is lifting between the everyday world and your world of spirit. The veil is lifting, perhaps gone. To do this, I would like to happily show what the following 6 members of our groups has shared with me personally over the past 3 days. First, as I mentioned, one member of our group now is seeing with the mind of God. Remarkable, is it not? We see with the mind of God. A second member said that during a meditation in the 5th layer of thought, the figure of Jesus appeared to her with the message, "Follow me." A third person said that an ethereal being appeared and said, "I trust everything that you do." A fourth noticed an orb that was photographed during the helicopter flyover of a deceased colleague. A fifth has begun to notice how the oversoul is now a presence in their own soul spirit. And a sixth has noticed how those who have physically departed, even many years ago, are now continuing to communicate. Do you not see that the veil between the physical and the non-physical is lifting? But more so, do you not see that the veil between the physical and the non-physical is lifting in you? because you have become more non-physical. Because you have changed. And because you have changed, that veil truly is lifting. Not just do you view the world differently, but you've come to view yourself differently. The veil is being removed, not just from the world, but from your own eyes. You've changed. You are now thinking with the thoughts of God, which are comfortable, not only in the physical world, but also in the non-physical world. You now see with much more open eyes. Might I suggest you are now seeing with soul vision. You are now seeing with soul vision. We're now ready for the fourth, now what? The fourth, now what, has to do with you, but it also includes two other groups. The first group is humanity at large. It certainly is no secret that many people are struggling. Many people are floundering in life, not just socially and financially, but they're really floundering spiritually. To this group that has so many uncertain souls in it, you have become a beacon of light. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. You are showing up with the mind of God in delivering your responsibilities in everyday life. And it is this modeling of the certainty of your behavior. Let me say it again. It's the modeling of the certainty of your behavior that is providing a rich example to assist others in their struggles. You have become a reference point. You have become a reference point for them because you bring the mind of God into the situations you share with them. You have become a stability point for them because you bring the thoughts of God into the situations you share with them. Not by trying to tell them what to do or providing some vague teaching, but by being you, by being the mind of God. Do you not clearly see this? And clearly see the wonderful example you are giving to others? This must be apparent to you. The second group. The second group is one that you are becoming more familiar with. It is the group of like-minded souls. Did you hear that? A group of like-minded souls. Souls just like you, who now have the thoughts of God. Becoming one with a group of souls who have the thoughts of God. The growth in our groups, especially in Now Creations and through our Zoom classrooms, has truly been a wonder to behold. How supportive we are to each other. How supportive we are to each other. How inspirational to each other we have become by sharing our stories. And tonight, another testimonial on the open forum. We are becoming the family of God because we are of the mind of God. Now, doesn't that just make sense? Do you not see this? We are becoming the family of God because We are of the mind of God. I believe you not only see this, but I believe you're beginning to feel this. And as we consciously become the family of God to each other, it's so much easier for us to be the family of God with all others. Might I suggest, on this planet and beyond. We are now ready for the fifth now what. The fifth now what that many of us are experiencing really concerns the results of living with the thoughts of God as our thoughts. Now, just take a look at your life. Is this not true? That every time you allow the mind of God to guide you, that you have a better result. Now, let me repeat this, not because you don't know, but because we need to hear it again. Every time you allow the thoughts of God to be your guide, do you not have simply better results? Knowing this truth, I would like to simply ask you two questions. Is it true that when you allow your mind to be of God, that your results are better? Is that true? Second question. If this is true, that your results are always better with the mind of God, why would you not be in the mind of God all the time? I am very, very happy to say that many of us have seen the proof that is in the pudding. And now, invariably, unwaveringly, consistently, we are in the mind of God. How foolish it would be to be otherwise. In conclusion, I trust that I've tried to at least answer the question, now what? As we have made the shift from the game of separation into the thoughts of God. May I simply end by saying that our present results, as good as they are only a foretaste of so much more to come. Pretty compelling, isn't it? Because you are now in the mind of God. How could it be otherwise? So with these thoughts in mind, let me now take you into meditation, and what a joy it is to do so. Let us begin as we normally do, by just simply taking that moment to realize what this wonderful state of being in the mind of God truly is. And to do so, let us begin by simply focusing on our breath, just gently breathing in and breathing out, and allow the breathing, the rhythm of our breath, to soothe us and to settle us. Please begin. Did you notice how easy it was to move into this presence, this conscious presence of being in the mind of God? Didn't take a lot of work, did it? You might be saying to yourself, well, what is this conscious presence? This conscious presence is both a consciousness and a presence. First of all, you're conscious. And just make sure you say to yourself, well, here I am. I'm totally alert. I'm very attentive. I am conscious. Please focus on that for a moment. Okay, we got that down. You're conscious. Here you are, very alert, very conscious. The second part of that definition is that it is a presence. It is a presence. May I suggest two things? The first one is this presence, when you have to think about something, mull something over, is intelligent, is smart, and it knows how to guide you through. It's very important. You're intelligent. You're smart. You have an internal guidance. You have stopped worrying about what other people are going to say, because you're much more concerned about what your spirit is saying. Would you notice again, when you have something to think through, how you are intelligent and smart and empowered. There's a second part to this presence. The first part is what you have to think through. The second part is what you have to feel through. This is a pretty fun part for you. You begin to feel through with greater love and kindness, compassion, and joy that you've ever experienced in your life. It's just nice to be kind. It's the way you want to be. Cooperative. Helpful. Would you notice the heart feeling of this presence? Notice this combination that your conscious presence is both of the mind and of the heart. Smart enough to guide you, loving enough to enfold you. So you might be saying to yourself, well, now what? Now that you are in the conscious presence, this is the way that you show up in your daily living. What does that mean? Well, it means that you bring this conscious presence to the everyday situations of your life. You're smart and you're loving. You're intelligent and you're kind. And with this conscious presence, you are directed through your daily responsibilities and situations. Do you not see that you are now consciously present in all of the things in which you have to be engaged? What has changed is not so much the things in which you're involved, but rather in the way you are now showing up. In the mind of God. Is there anything else? Of course. Of course. You are now taking more time to be quiet, to go within, and to expand your awareness of God. You are beginning to see yourself as the soul. I'll say it again. You are beginning to see yourself as a soul. I better complete that thought. You're beginning to see yourself as a soul. In the mind of God. Yep. Seeing yourself as a soul. In the mind of God. And you are beginning to honor yourself and everyone else in the same way. A conscious presence in the mind of God. Perhaps our closing song will be even of more significance to you as you honor yourself and others.
Deep within, peace resides, faith abounds, and love abides. The light shines bright to love without, love within. I honor thee, I honor thee. Namaste.
Do you notice how good you feel right now? Would you also recall that I said this is simply a foretaste? Namaste, dear mighty, mighty soul. Namaste.